Good afternoon. My name is Loretta Anania and I work on the Next Generation Internet Unit. It's a pleasure for the European Commission to support citizen activities in Rimini that relate to social innovation, because we have been funding 54 million worth of projects all over the EU which argue that the internet and digital are what allows social innovation to thrive, to scale up and to be sustainable. So all these little initiatives are very exciting. Each addresses a separate need of communities, real communities of people. And the answer is always that connecting and building up these communities with digital platforms allows them to grow. So my unit believes in the next generation internet, which is a way of sustaining social innovation. The internet is a very innovative, very fast developing innovation that now belongs to everybody. So we want to make sure that the future has the internet that is designed for things we believe in, and open and inclusive and transparent. We fund projects that are R&D, and you have many of them here. But it's not just the projects, it's not the acronyms, it's not the funding, it's the links across people with different competences and skills. Gender was one of the aspects that still needs to be addressed. Poverty is one of the big ones. By poverty, I mean the digital divide, the contradiction that the more you go for digital, the more you are separating those who have the power and the capacity and not. So of course, as I said, the internet has to be inclusive, and digital social innovation is that label that asks the EU and other sources of funding like philanthropies or the European Commission or the Central Bank for Development and Innovation, asks to put in the social dimension at the very beginning, because this is something for people that are frightened of digital and AI and algorithms taking over their jobs and their future. So something has to be done for the empowerment of individuals. And one of the speakers who works in the creative industries tells us how important it is for every individual to find a place, something that they can be proud of. Allegedly, the impact is to influence the funding, which is not going to social, is going to other less social, is going to things that are developing themselves anyway. So I think one of the impacts will be to affect the decision of funding, but the biggest impact has to do with creating communities of change. So people linking across projects. We have people here who are working on the same things but who don't know about each other. I have 4 projects in Milan alone, but they don't know about one another because it's a different department. So that's why you need the EU. For example, in Belgium, we have the Flemish speaking and the French speaking, and they only collaborate when it's an EU project that forces them. So I hope that we get a lot more community building and social bridges, call it, bridges across divides. So our motto is unity in diversity. So nobody has to feel that they're not important or not included. It's an inclusive social innovation for communities. So the European community was a community, it's now 60 years old. It's a time of crisis. In my speech, I mentioned the 5 scenarios that citizens and governments have to decide what they do. It requires a lot of commitment, so the European Commission is sending people locally to say we are there with the local communities, we are aware of unemployment, we are aware of concerns on security, lack of trust in public structures, corruption, and we are trying to use citizen engagement and ICT to create better institutions that are open and democratic.